I see. We can't hold you here if you have to go help your uncle. Yeah, it's a pretty small store after all. But you know, couldn't he have guessed that if he did a bargain sale, his place would be packed? I can't believe he's selling a carton of eggs for only 10 yen. As we were getting ready to move on to the next stage, Mion got a call from work. This was fated to happen too. If I was still feeling depressed, I would have been disgusted with this situation. But after learning what it felt like to change fates, I was in a good mood. Keiichi and Mion seemed like they kept regretting that they were unable to settle the match. They really are such good friends.
We're so close. I feel kind of jealous. Oh. We really do not have any other boys his age in our class, do we? I suppose Mion-san is something like a male friend to Keiichi-san. But Mi-chan is a girl. She can't be another guy for him. Of course I know that. But when they're together, they look like two boys hanging out.
Ren and Tokyo enjoyed the lingering excitement of the day as they watched Mion and Keiichi happily goof off. The next moment, the owner came out from the store. Thank you for today, everyone. You brought me a lot of customers. He was holding 4 paper bags in his hands. I remember he gave us gifts as a reward for today. I think there were dolls inside. And this was like very important in the Watanagashi and Meakashi arcs. Here are your rewards for today. Hey, Uncle Yoshiro. Don't I get one? He was giving them only to us. Mion didn't get anything because she's a family member. That's what happened last time too.
Oh, look! Something cute is inside.
Sanako let out a cheer of joy as she saw a cute doll inside of her bag. Rina reacted the same way.
Wow! This is so cute! I can take it home with me? Really?
Did I get one too? Wow. Look at this cute doll. Keiichi got a gorgeous, expensive looking doll. It was by far the best one. It was adorable even to my eyes. Sadako, Rena, and Mion were feeling the same way. Keiichi got the one that fits him the least. Mion started making fun of him right away. She was only saying that because she was jealous that Keiichi got a doll that she really wanted. This is pretty cute, I can admit that, but it's not really my type of toy. Yeah, people will think you're a pervert if you carry that thing around. Mion just can't be honest with herself. It was obvious that she was just trying to make him give up the doll so she could have it herself. She should just admit that and ask Keiichi for it. But that's the cute side of Mion. I bet Keiichi can never understand that. Hehe. Keiichi can't keep the doll after receiving that much bullying from Mion. He was thinking about who he should give it to. He probably didn't want to give it to Mion. Time froze for a moment. Hanyuu whispered something in my ear.
Rika, do you remember?
Yes. I advised him on who he should give the doll to. I did nothing and watched the events unfold. Oh my god, we got a choice? Does it even have any relevance? Because the ending is ultimately the same. I advised him on who he should give the doll to. I remember that Keiichi is insensitive. If decision eventually caused a fatal ending, that was fate. Keiichi was internally thinking that he should give the doll to Mion. She was the only one who didn't get anything, so it would be natural for him to give it to her. But the hesitation he was feeling was because Mion was such a close friend to him. He'd been treating Mion as if she was a male friend. But it'd be weird to give a doll to another boy. He was worried that if he gave the doll to Mion, he would start looking at her as a girl from that point onward. He wanted to continue his friendship with Mion without thinking about their difference in gender. He didn't want to ruin the relationship they had at that moment. That's why he couldn't give the doll to Mion. Even though she was the only one who had a doll, he felt so hesitant. Of course, that was only how he felt. Mion didn't agree. In actuality, she wished he would treat her more like a girl. I walked closer to Keiichi so I could talk to him. If Mion heard me telling Keiichi to give her the doll, she would resist taking it. I had to make sure that no one but Keiichi could hear me. Also had to make this very quick. I poked Keiichi in the back. Huh? Keiichi, the person who really wants that doll is the one who's bullying you the most about it. I was going to say that, but Keiichi opened his mouth first, even before I could say anything to him. I know. I hadn't said anything to him yet, but Keiichi told me that he knew. I felt confused, not knowing what he just meant. He turned around to face Mion, smiling mischievously. Mion, if you think I would look like a pervert with this doll, who do you think deserves to have it? Huh? I don't know. All I'm saying is that dolls aren't for boys. I see, then I guess you can have it. Here. Keiichi tossed the doll to Mion as if passing her a basketball. You know what? I bet that choice, where they actually give you a choice, that was probably to give you an example. It's like, oh yeah, this is fated to be different. Like Keiichi in this scenario is going to give the doll to Mion either way. Probably. Just to, like, show, like, fate gets, you know, kicked in the face. It's like, no, it's not gonna repeat the same way as it did last time. She tossed the doll to Mion as if passing her a basketball, as if forcing her to carry his bag or something. Mion's face quickly turned red. Feeling shy, Keiichi turned away from her. That was surprising. He got my message just by getting a tap on his back. Was Keiichi always that smart? Just one tap was all it took. I don't think he would have done the same in a previous life. This was just a small incident, but this world is definitely different from the previous one. Or could it be... Perhaps he would have given that doll to Mion even if I didn't poke him in the back. Yeah, that's probably it, isn't it? In this scenario, he gives it to Mion. He's going against the script, man! Going against fate. Does he have memories from previous worlds after all? No way, he can't. That can't be happening. I know for a fact that he doesn't have those memories. There might be something imperceptible somewhere inside his heart. He might remember some of the regrets he felt in the previous worlds. That's why he strongly felt he should be given the doll to Mion this time. After beating so many lives, I'm the only one who can even notice this slight growth of his. But I see it. It's clearly visible to me. Mion, having turned red, insisted that the cute doll would be much better fit for Rena. Her attitude made it clear that she really wanted the doll, but couldn't be honest about it. This old man just thinks that cute dolls like this are, well, for girly girls, you know. This doll doesn't deserve to be owned by a tomboy like me. I know that you want it. It's written all over your face. No, it's not written on my face. You're lying, stop being mean. Mion shook her head with an embarrassed look, pretending she wasn't interested in the doll. Everyone here knew that she wanted it. We all looked at Mion with big smiles on our faces. Hey, it's not like I can only give this doll to a girl. Just think of it as a gift to you as a friend. Is that so? So you would give a doll to a boy too? Well, I would choose something else if I had the choice. But anyway, guys would never reject a gift unless there's something shady going on. It's just me being generous. Why would you refuse it? Oh, so I can accept this doll even though I'm not a girly girl? Everyone thought Mion's reaction was hilarious. Rena couldn't stop chuckling. Sadako and I burst out laughing too. Like, that was probably genuine laughter from Rika because it's the scenario she wasn't anticipating to happen like that. Mion, having realized she was being laughed at, got even more embarrassed. I'm offering this to you as a friend. I don't want to hear that you're not cherishing it. Okay. This old man just wants to make it clear that he's not accepting this because he wants this doll. He's taking it because you said it's a gift from you as a friend. He's taking it as a courtesy, so he doesn't disrespect your generosity. Hanyuu was cracking up too. She was laughing in a loud voice, knowing that no one could hear her anyway. But was this really a good way to resolve the problem? I thought that Mion's issue in the previous life was that she wanted Keiichi to treat her like a girl. She got the doll, but Keiichi still wasn't treating her that way. Still, Mion looked very happy. Maybe it wasn't a big deal after all. I'm sure that Mion will take that doll with her to bed tonight. She'll kiss her goodnight too. I could bet on that. It was written all over her face. She's finally accepted it. It was a challenge just for me to give her a doll. Keiichi turns around to face us, smiling bitterly.
You did it though. It was perfect. I'm impressed that you managed it. Mion's doll was hilarious. It was obvious the moment you looked that she really wanted a doll.
Isn't that the truth?
Hey, you guys. Are you saying rude things about this old man? Knock it off already. Don't you have to get to work? You're going to be late.
You guys better watch yourselves. Mion seemed like she wanted to stay longer, but after looking at her watch, she started heading to work. Everyone was wearing smiles on their faces. Today was such a fun day. Everyone had lots of fun and no one was hurt. I've repeated this same day so many times before. This time something was different. It's like I rolled a die and got a 6, and then I rolled it again and got a 6 again. I don't know if this was just a lucky coincidence or if it was meant to be. It's as if the god of fate is celebrating my motivation to fight against him. New tips, good times with oyashiro-sama key change. That's gotta be a key change. To even unlock the game of life. Why is it? It's just the way it looks there. There's just like the text display on it just look odd. I was watching TV with Sadako and Hanyuu after eating dinner. It was a variety show and the performers were making the audience laugh. We were laughing too.
Look at you now. Oh, it looks so painful.
While the three of us were enjoying ourselves, in reality there was only Sadako and me in the room. I'm the only one who can see Hanyuu. Sadako can't see her at all. Hanyuu responds every time Sadako says anything. Sadako can't hear her, but Hanyuu still responds to her when she's in a good mood. It's like she's answering a question asked on TV. You could even compare it to playing house. She started playing this game with other people because she can't communicate with anyone else but me. Hanyuu always attends our club meetings and has a good time there too. If she could communicate with my other friends, she would have been a good match for us. But I don't want to hurt her feelings by thinking about that. I wonder how Hanyuu would do in one of their games. She'd probably be the one that replaces Keiichi as the one who always ultimately ends up losing. If the story of the miracle written in the old scriptures is true, if it's really Hanyuu who performed it, she's someone who had tremendous power long ago. But now she doesn't have any spiritual power, and I'm the only one who can even see her. Hanyuu has never told me how she lost her power. I just have to assume that her spiritual power diminished over time. There's a legend in the Furude family that says that oyashiro-sama will be reborn if a girl is born to the family 7 generations in a row. With my birth, Hanyuu was finally able to communicate with a human for the first time in centuries. Does that mean that oyashiro-sama has returned? The villager's image of oyashiro-sama doesn't quite match up with that of Hanyuu. No shit. It's like oyashiro-sama this whole time has been a case of just is it real? Or is it a conspiracy? And then it's just oh yeah, you got Hanyuu here. It's just well, that was kind of unexpected. Especially when I see her lying on her belly and watching TV with Sadako. So that was that. Oyashiro-sama was a girl, I guess. I mean, this is weird, isn't it? The way they just throw you into that is just like all these arcs leading up to this, and like oyashiro-sama's, you know, the whole idea of it has been very, you know, mysterious, and like in a scenario where it's like, is it real or is it not? How much truth is there to this? Is it like everyone just being overly paranoid and whatnot and all that? And it's like, oh yeah, no, that thing is actually, you know, oyashiro-sama actually existed and was a girl that only Rika could see. I mean, that's just really comes out of that field of it. Who the hell's speaking, I don't know. Well, I know I've heard some people mention it before, but they were serious about that. This world always had a lot of nice suggestions, but they're mostly out of politeness, right? Just something you laugh off and reply with, that'd be nice. But those ideas generally end as jokes, so it's just crazy when they turn real. Yeah, I'm serious. Uncle Ushiro was giving you a ton of praise, too. He said it was amazing how well that Papa Pirate game went in the toy store yesterday. I had no idea you could play that game like that. Oh, it's a shame we didn't get to see that scenario play out. I didn't mention that some of the kids around my table wanted to play with me too. Oh, we switched to Keiichi's perspective in this scene. Well, that explains that, sort of, I guess. The dialogue maybe at the start. Keiichi's a genius when it comes to playing games. You know, I wasn't just playing around, I was giving it my all, because I had no choice but to win. I guess we made it look like a lot of fun for the audience, though. You definitely have a blast no matter what club activity you're doing, Kei-chan. The coach was saying that Hidden Bizarre Fighters would be so happy if you joined the team. What the hell are you doing there? That's very true. Dr. Iria had nothing but great things to say about you at the meeting last night, my Barakun. Why is Shion in the class? You have the ability to bring people joy and far more than you think you do. You think so? This old man didn't mention a name just because you're his friend. He did it because he's confident you can do the job. I was there at the meeting too, and no one was against the idea. My Barakun, you honestly do have a good reputation around the village. I've heard good things about you in Okinawa too. What he did in that match between the enemy Zao fighters and Okinawa Titans was legendary. Ah yes, the old... I remember that. How did it play out though? I said I remember that, but then I was like, I can't remember. It was that one guy who was like, loved desserts and shit, and Keiichi was like, I'm going to use this as a bargaining tool to win the game. And he's just like, look man, I can get you all the desserts you want, I know that. And then he just like does his passionate speeches and wins him over as an ally.
It really was incredible. The reporters were there to see Kameda-san, but they were more impressed by you.
They're talking about that rigged baseball match I set up with Kameda-kun. Public did end up believing that talented pitcher walked me out of fear for my insides. Kameda-kun and I have entered a strange relationship since then, but I'd really rather not talk about it right now.
What do you think, Keiichi-kun? I think you can do it. I'm backing you up too. I definitely think you should be in charge of the Watanagashi Planning Committee.
Watanagashi is an annual village festival held in June. Supposed to be the biggest event in the village, and most of the people living here gather together for it. Since this is a major event, they always organize a committee to plan out the festival a few months in advance. The festival is only 2 weeks away, and I just moved to this village. But now they want me to join that committee. Look, first of all, I don't even know what you do in a committee. You don't need to be too concerned about it. The job we actually want you to fill is hosting the auction. What the hell is that? Do you want me to sell bananas or something? Well, to be fair, Keiichi, if there's one thing you're good at, it's a sales pitch. Well, let me explain. We're holding an auction event for the first time this year. We're going to auction off donated items just to see how it turns out. There's kind of a long story behind it. We want to do something in which everyone can participate, using donated items as prizes. So the other members decided to distribute the prizes using something other than a lottery, for their own reasons. The words simply are, heck of a grandma let her attempt to get to her and wouldn't back down after that. But she didn't really consider any specifics. Yep. Anyway, we have to come up with how to utilize those donated items. To that point, we thought of doing an auction.
That sounds like fun. You might be able to get something good for a really cheap price. It's fun just to watch the show too.
The items were all donated, so they were free, huh? That committee sure is good at making money.
The profit will be going into the beer fund for the village committee's winter getaway trip. It's not fair.
You're not ready for beer yet, for Elisa. Well, considering she's like been on a loop of 100-odd years, she's mentally. He'd be like, no, screw it. If I want to drink, if you went through this shit, you'd be freaking drunk all the time. I think I understand what's going on, but still, I've never done anything like it before.
I'm sure you can do it, Keiichi. I bet you'd do really well if they told you that you'd get to keep 10% of the profits.
Well, yeah, if I can gain something for producing results, so I'll do my best at it. On the other hand, you might be facing a dreadful penalty game if you don't produce anything. Wait a minute, Sardico. Why would I agree to a risky deal like that? Don't forget, they're the ones asking for my help. I'm a very busy guy, you know. Try asking my agent first. Alright, Keiichi. If you want some kind of conversation, we can talk about it. I really want you to be a part of this. We can make a deal. That sounds interesting. I wonder what I should ask for.
We're always thinking about punishments, but it's our first time talking about a reward.
That's true. We're always fighting for something high. Renner's right. The whole purpose of our club activities is to escape the punishments we come up with. Even if we win, we never get a prize or a reward for it.
Keiichi has no idea how to respond to something that sounds too good to be true. Maybe Meek-chan could come up with a good idea. It's hard to decide on what you want, isn't it?
Let me see. How about this? An admission ticket to Angel Mort's dessert fiesta. Don't be too cheap, sis. Why didn't you give him 3 years worth of admission?
Hey, that sounds more like a deluxe reward to me.
I heard that some people pay lots of money for that ticket. Are you sure you can hook me up with 3 years worth of admission? Of course I can. But you have to do a good job.
I'm sure he will. With Keiichi-kun there, it's going to be heaps of fun.
I feel the same way. I'm really looking forward to the auction now.
Yeah, you could probably get people to line up for a takoyaki that doesn't even contain octopus.
Hey, takoyaki without octopus? That's impossible. No, I'm pretty sure you could do it.
Yeah, he's probably saying it was a healthier kind of takoyaki.
Are you making fun of me a lot? So what do you think, my Baraku? I think you'll do a wonderful job. Sensei was also on the committee. She must have backed up Mion's suggestion when she wrote my name up at their last meeting.
I'd also love to see what kind of magic you can do.
A good auction always depends on how good a speaker the host is.
Sounds like it's going to be Keiichi Maibaru's big show. It'll be so fun to watch, just to watch.
Hey, I haven't accepted the offer yet.
Don't worry, Keiichi-kun, you can do it.
You're saying that because you don't have to.
Oh, well, that's not true.
The principal suddenly opened his mouth. He doesn't have a character portrait, though. He never has. My Baraku, in my opinion, you will do a fine job. As a man, isn't it your responsibility to meet people's expectations? If I had to, I'm sure I could do it. Mion has made me do so many different things for the club, and I've learned a lot from that. Besides, this would be the first time I could get a reward without having to worry about budget. It should be fun too. This was the first time so many people were counting on me like this. To be honest, it made me pretty happy. Still, I was worried about getting dragged into something that requires a lot of work. I couldn't erase that thought from my mind, but I was in Mizawa. The people in this village would never do anything to betray me. They generally believed that it would do a lot to liven up the festival if I became the host of their auction. I've only been here for a short period of time, but I know that the people here are honest and kind. Fine. As a man, I'm going to do it. I'll take care of it. Wait and see. I'll make it the greatest auction in the world. Don't forget to get me that angel ball. Perhaps I'll make sure to do a good enough job that I'll deserve 10 years worth of tickets. Good for you, Keiichi. Everyone gave me a round of applause. How many times did this happen in my life? Not once. It was the first time I had even been applauded. By the way, I'm surprised that no one disagreed with the suggestion at the meeting. There are lots of old people in the village committee. I'm a young guy who only just moved here. I've known for a while that Mion has a lot of influence locally, but I couldn't believe that everyone in the committee would accept it just like that. Most of them are that kind of hard-headed old people. But the new generation's gradually taken over, you know. We won the DamCon thing, and now we're aiming to build a new area and grow more and more prosperous. That's why we value the involvement of young people, and people from outside the village too. You're young and you're from the city, you also have a good reputation, so you're the perfect guy for this. Have a good reputation, huh? I have no idea why so many people have heard of me. It's something to do with Michan's punishments, I think. I knew it! Ha ha ha. Alright then. I'll call your parents about it tonight, so please let them know when you get back home today, okay? I'm sure my parents will have no problem with it. They won't have any objections to raise, at least. They might ask me why my name was brought up, though. Sensei and the principal went back to the teacher's office after the discussion ended. We were in the middle of lunch break at the moment. Sensei and the principal had come along together, and Mion scared me by saying that they all had something to talk to me about. My stomach wasn't digesting my lunch particularly well. That's probably those two kids. My mother's son, it's everything. Good for you. It's a big honor being chosen by the village committee. Hey there, it's Amita-kun and Ogumura-kun. Yep, it's them. I'd love to give that honor to you. No, thank you. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I realized the whole class was talking about me. They were saying how fun Watanagashi was going to be and how high their expectations were for it. I might have taken on a huge responsibility. I needed to do my best to succeed at it. By the way, I forgot something. My granny made tons of ohagi. She told me to give them to my classmates. But you know, don't go into onikakushi territory with it, alright? Remember that? Mion clapped her hands as she remembered and took a box out of her bag. It's weird, it's like a bizarre hybrid of scenarios. It's like you got onikakushi and Watanagashi mixed into this arc so far. And obviously, Watanagashi arc clearly must have got derailed there because Keiichi, you know, defeated fate in a way by giving the doll to Mion, so it didn't set off the chain reaction of events. But I doubt this would really have any of that because presumably Keiichi hasn't learnt about the whole, you know, dam dismemberment thing, presumably in this scenario, so wouldn't have the paranoia attached and all that. And then I just remembered and took a box out of her bag. She opened the lid, letting us see a bunch of ohagi neatly packed inside. Wow, there really are a lot. I think there might be enough for everyone in the class to have one. Oh, they look so yummy and cute. For some reason, my granny is very good at making ohagi.
That's because Sohei used to love them.
Ah, yeah, I heard my gramps used to like ohagi. He ate tons of them.
For your grandma, ohagi is something that makes her remember your late grandpa, huh?
You think so? I thought gramps liked canned food. You don't like canned food, do you, Shion? There's a reason for that.
What? Is that true? Why so?
Well, it's because of the smell. I just don't like the smell of the metal. You know, that and, you know, all the horror stories about it.
Oh, is that so? After always forced me to eat my squash, it turns out that you too have something you can't eat.
To tell you the truth, she hates canned food because... Come on, sis. Don't you dare tell anyone. I don't know what's going on, but it seems Mion knows a secret about Shion. Tell it to us. Go on. The reason why Shion doesn't like canned food must have been something pretty funny. Or morbid. The two sisters battled for a while. The machine gun kicks Mion launched from close quarters went bad, but I don't think she expected Shion to land a capture suplex off it. Guess Shion is the stronger of the two siblings. I'd rather tell you the truth than have you hear it from my sis. See, there's this bad guy named Kasai. He once told me, when I was still young and innocent, that there's sometimes human meat mixed in with canned food.
I've heard of an urban legend like that before.
Me too. I once heard that there's dog meat mixed into beef bowls and worms inside burgers. Nasty.
Are you quite serious? I can never eat beef bowls or burgers again after hearing something like that.
See, Sadako, it was very traumatic. You see, Sadako, it was a very traumatic thing for me.
You have my sympathy, but I still have yet to forget about how you made me eat a full-course squash meal. You need to let go of that one. That meal was delicious.
Because we're talking about this, I'm starting to get worried there might be something mixed into this sohagi too. Oh, don't get paranoid, Keiichi. You don't want Onikakushi to repeat. Oh? Well, at least with the ohagi that I brought, you can't really be sure if there's nothing else inside. Ohagi that Mion brought. When you consider that, it's only natural to expect that she probably did something to them. What's going on? I felt like I was forgetting something. But I didn't remember anything that I was forgetting. It was like one of those deja vu moments. I'd never been in a situation, but my mind was telling me that I'd been there before.
What's wrong, Keiichi?
Nothing. I just feel like Mion has given me ohagi before. This is the first time, right?
Is it? Mi-chan?
I think this is the first time. You must be mistaking it for something else.
According to my memory, this is the first time Mion-san has brought ohagi to school.
Oh, there's Rika's serious face. She's like, holy shit. Keiichi once again has those very faint memories of a past life. Ah, I know. You're being cautious because he's from this old man, aren't you? That's nothing to brag about. I think you should be reflecting on your regular behavior. You're right, I wouldn't feel this way if Renner had brought me ohagi. But it's really good at cooking. They're small but very carefully made.
Huh? I've never made ohagi before.
What? What was I saying? Why did I say that Renner had made ohagi before? Why would I know that Renner makes her ohagi small but neatly? I had no idea where that memory was coming from. I could only assume it was an error in my brain. I guess that's why they switched the character's perspective to Keiichi here. Just so that we can get a perspective of his thoughts, and he's like, wait a minute, where'd that come from? I could only assume it was an error in my brain. Mion was saying that this was her first time bringing ohagi to class. So I tilted my head in confusion. Everyone started reaching inside the box. Rina took out one for me and put it on the lid. I stared at it closely. What was I so concerned about? Mion said that I was probably concerned that she did something to the ohagi. But it wasn't quite that. I really didn't know how to explain it. I felt like I was forgetting something important. I'd forgotten something important. All I had was the obligation to remember it. In front of me was nothing but a single ohagi that came from Mion's house. Oh, it's... because this is the exact same, like, he remembered the events of Watanagashi in the previous arc. That seems to be... I mean, it's the start of the series and all that, but it's like a very important event for Keiichi because of what happened at the end of Watanagashi was, like, very personal. Like, they're all being have a level of personal to them, but that one was especially so he must have, like, for that one, like, kept it in his mind subconsciously, transferring to these other world scenarios, but it's faintly in his subconscious and he doesn't fully realize it, but it's kind of there. In front of me was nothing but a single ohagi that came from Mion's house. I was frustrated, but I really couldn't think of anything. There's no way I could remember it, because I didn't know anything.
Keiichi, you've been staring at your ohagi for a long time. What's the matter?
Oh, it's just, I'm experiencing deja vu. Don't you get it sometimes? It's your first time seeing something, but you feel like you've seen it before. Well, Rika knows all about that.
So you feel like Mion has given you ohagi in the past?
I'm sure it's just my imagination. Mion just told me that she had never brought ohagi to school before.
Keiichi, you can't have memories of what didn't happen. If you remember something, I'm sure it really happened before.
Rika-chan told me something strange. I didn't usually take her random comments seriously, but ever since I saw her making those predictions in the toy store, I'd been curious about her special powers. I felt like she was telling me something deep. It's weird to hear that from you, since you're so great at making predictions. Are you talking about the cycle of reincarnation or something?
Well,
it's kind of... well, not really reincarnation, because it's just repeating the same scenario.
I don't know much about religion. I just want to tell you that, if you know about something, that's something that happened to you. I want you to try and remember what happened. I don't want you to treat it like you're just mistaken. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I guess. I was a little surprised by how serious she sounded. I always thought that Rika was just an innocent girl who fooled around all the time, saying things like meep and nipa. But all of a sudden, she seemed like a totally different girl. Was I supposed to take it as a joke? A serious look on her face told me it wasn't the time for jokes, though. That's what you tell me, and I guess I got ohagi from Mion in a previous life.
Well, yeah, something like that. I would make fun of you, so please tell me everything. Why did me give you that ohagi?
The more I think about it, the more I think it's just my imagination. Maybe it was just a dream.
I don't care if it was a dream. You must remember something. Please tell me.
What was up with her? She seemed so curious about it. I didn't think this story was that interesting. Her asking so much started making me feel uncomfortable. Still, something told me that I needed to talk to Rika-chan about everything I could. Maybe she could predict my future by reading my dreams. I should tell her everything. After all, she's the shrine maiden for oyashiro-sama. Well, I think I skipped school that day. I had a cold or something. My memory was scattered all over my brain like powder. I could see myself standing in front of the door. Mion was there and someone else was standing there too. I think it was Rena. Mion brought me a huggy so I would get better. I think she told me that her grandma made it just like today.
And then?
Well, then I ate that ohagi after I went back home. And I found something inside the ohagi. I'm sure I saw it in a comic book or something. It's mixed up in my memory, but I'm sure I read it somewhere in some comic book. Because it can't be true.
Can't you tell me what happened? What did you find inside the ohagi?
Well, I read a scary comic book when I was little, and there was a sewing needle inside of somebody's burger. Remember what Shion was saying just now? It can be traumatic to hear a story like that when you're young. I didn't remember much about that comic. I think it was about this girl who had an accident and held a grudge against the person who caused the injury on her face. It's a really cheap plot now that I think about it. I wonder if it's like an actual manga, like, that exists or not. I mean, they have referenced manga and all that. I think. Maybe. Or am I thinking of someone else? Nah, I think I might just be thinking of Dark Arbor 2, where they had like the briefest of references to something else. I'm not sure if Higurashi's ever done that though. It's a real cheap plot now I think about it, but since I was still a little kid, that comic really scared me. One chapter, the girl casts a curse on the guy's food. Eats a burger with sewing needles inside it, and he goes all, something like that. It still freaked me out. The image was so grotesque and shocking to me. That's the weird thing, isn't it? When you read or hear or see something as a kid, it's awfully traumatic. But then, if you were to read something like that as an adult, it would still have a bit of creepiness to it, but it wouldn't be nearly as impactful. It's like when you see a horror movie as a kid, it's like everything is way more terrifying. When you're an adult, you're just like, oh, here we go, cheesy plot, oh yeah, the standard. Bunch of group of teens go in there, and then the slasher villain comes and kills them off, and then there's the last girl at the end, and everyone else dies, and maybe the last girl also dies, blah 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 blah, and everyone has about as much personality as a peanut. Well, less than a peanut even. Just, it's like you realize how cheesy a lot of horror films are, but even the cheesy horror films can scare the crap out of you as a kid, kind of thing, It's a lot more impactful. That grew into a kind of trauma, and for a while I searched for sewing needles in my food every time I ate something. Like, this is an example. I remember when I was a kid, I was staying over a friend's house, and they had Scary Movie 2, I think it was. And that's just a comedy pretty much, really. But just seeing the cover of it, and despite the clearly comedic look of it, where in a cinema just stuffing their faces with popcorn, all these ridiculous characters, just seeing the freaking girl from The Exorcist face, I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna watch that. That's scary. It's called Scary Movie, right? Didn't even realize that I was pretty much just pure comedy until years later, and then it's like, I don't think I've actually seen The Exorcist, but I'd imagine if I'd seen The Exorcist as a kid, that probably would have scared the living shit out of me. Because just that face alone is terrifying. Anyways, that grew into a kind of trauma, and for a while I searched for sewing needles in my food every time I ate something. I couldn't eat burgers for a while for that reason. Oh, and all of it, I can't remember what it was called. It was one of those horror films with giant spiders. I imagine if I were to see it nowadays, I'd be like, nah, that's cheesy as all hell, Still find spiders be, a bit creepy anytime Spider-Man, like, yeah. But, this cheesy film. But it always made me just, paranoid about my shoes. It's like, no, I gotta check if there's a spider in there. It stays with you, man. But my parents got concerned, and my hunger overcame the trauma. Eventually, that experience disappeared into the flow of time. I'm still a little worried about sewing needles every once in a while. I don't think about it all the time, of course. It'd be pretty rude if I poked at my food while eating lunch with you guys, wouldn't it? Of course, I know that no one would actually put a sewing needle inside of my food. But you're still a little scared. Well, maybe I am, somewhere inside my heart. So, you saw a sewing needle inside the ohagi that me gave you. So a sewing needle inside of one. Yeah, I did. Inside that ohagi, there was a needle just as I feared. I wasn't telling about something that was just my imagination. Mion and Rena came to see me when I took a day off from school while I was sick. That never happened, so obviously my brain was just making it up. But I spoke to Rika-chan, because she said she wouldn't make fun of me. Are you afraid there's a ohagi now? Do you feel like there might be a needle inside? Is that why you're not eating it? I realized that Mion and Rena were also looking at me. They were wondering why I was staring at the ohagi without eating it.
Oh, you don't like ohagi, Kei-chan? If you don't have to eat it. Mion was assuming that I didn't like ohagi. She felt bad for forcing me to eat something I didn't like. In turn, I felt guilty seeing the sad expression on her face. Sis, you must be convinced that you put something in it. I immediately denied Shion's remark. No one else would understand what I'm saying. I mean, to be fair, there was indeed something in that ohagi in that scenario in Watanagashi, but that was simply because they were... Well, I'm not sure if it's even been explained yet, but they were actually trying to help him. So what was actually inside it was something that was meant to, help, essentially. No one else would understand what I'm saying. Even I didn't know. No, I know for sure there's no sewing needle inside this ohagi. A sewing needle? Why would this old man put something like that in there? Of course he wouldn't. You're not the type to visit and bring something... not the type to visit and bring something with you out of pure generosity. You might play a trick with Tabasco sauce or something, but you'd never put needles inside. You'd never do something as dangerous as that. I know you would never do such a thing. I grabbed the ohagi with my hand. As I brought it in front of my mouth, I felt the need to check it, just in case. But I told myself clearly, "Hey, you wimp. When are you going to stop being scared of that stupid comic book? Mion brought these ohagi to treat everyone in the class. There's no way she'd put needles inside of these." I forced that stupid memory out of my brain and munched on the ohagi. Delicious. Of course it is. There wasn't a needle inside, was there? No way. I'm really sorry. I was just caught up in a traumatic experience I once had. My heart had stopped pounding and I felt relieved. The next moment I got the urge to say something to Mion. It wasn't the right thing to say, but I just felt like I had to say it. Hey, Mion. Oh, what is it? The ohagi was delicious. Huh? I'm glad I brought them then, even though they were really heavy. I didn't know why I wanted to tell her again that the ohagi was delicious. I was glad I said it to her. I was finally released from that odd feeling. Well then, since Kei-chan overcame its fears and ate the ohagi, you should eat this squash, Sadako-chan. It's so soft and sweet. How can that lunchbox always be so full of squash? You're gonna give me a traumatic experience. Hey, you think it's a traumatic experience? I've freaking just been squashed up into this, no pun intended, Mr. Squash. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I referenced that. That random character who's pretty much... was just really just a one-off character because they had a button that squash and I drew an anime face on it. It just became a random reoccurring character. A character that went on to have a rivalry with Hatsune Miku over leaks. It's absurd, but yeah. Shi-chan is trying so hard to stop Sadako-chan from hating squash. She's so passionate about it. Maybe she sees her as her future little sister. It's just like, it's like so different, like compared to like the events of Watanagashi and Meakashi, and it's like how much difference there is depending on how events play out in each arc. By the time I finished eating my ohagi, we had returned to our usual fun lunchtime. Keiichi, what if... What if what? What if you really do see a needle inside your food? What would you do? That's not gonna happen. Don't impress me, Rika-chan. Keiichi, what if it really happens? Rika-chan looked at me with a serious face as I looked around. What's gotten into her lately? Stop it, it's not gonna happen and I don't believe it will. I just overcome my stupid trauma after all that. That's why I made that firm statement. I understand. Keiichi, I'm sorry I'm asking you so much. If you see a needle inside your food, it's definitely some kind of mistake. Please don't ever believe that it's me's fault. You're just trying to tell me not to be suspicious of Mion, right? Of course I won't. I would never be suspicious of my friends, except that one time in Onagakushi. I raised my fist in the air. Rika-chan finally looked happy.
She smiled as if she was relieved by my words. This is the longest recording of the 3 record sessions I've done so far, that's for sure. Nearly an hour and a half. The items donated for the auction were gathered at the Fruity Shrine. But that'll have to wait for another time, because I'm gonna save the game and call it recording. So, that was that, I guess. I can't remember how long this arc is, but it's obviously going to be lengthy, like all the other arcs except for the 4th arc. The 4th question arc is pretty short. But you know, they're pretty lengthy, so probably, I don't even know how many parts it'll be. But yeah, see you next time, viewers. See you next time.